Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton with Big C. This is Charlton and Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, the number one network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the number one sports show in the universe, according to Big C and the good old boys down south. I want to say bienvenidos to all of our listeners across the pond in London, England, as well as Latin America. And of course, your good old boys in Canada. But I got to also thank the Big C tribe, who's following Big C Sports ever since the pyramids were built back in Africa, Big C. But they still know one we love more than the good old boys down south and the land of the free and the home of the brave, Big C. How's it going for all of you good old boys down south? Yeah.
So we're bombastic down here, Charlton. We won the World Series last night. We beat up on you Golden Boys out there in California.
Yeah.
You know, I guess California's still dreaming.
Yeah, well, they obviously did not get the memo of California love. I thought they should have had it blaring louder at Chavez Ravine, but a great game if you're a Houston Astros fan. Even a great World Series. The Dodgers and Astros going 7 games. Of course, it wasn't what the home team wanted, but the last 3 World Series have been won by the road team. I do want to say today is a beautiful November the 2nd, 2017, in the land of the free, in the home of the brave. And Big C, when you think about that game last night, it had all of the reasons as to why baseball at one time was America's pastime, was America's game. Because when you're in the batter's box, it's just you against the world. And when you're pitching like Darvish was last night, there are good old boys who was reading what he was doing from the dugout and even from TV. He didn't look like he had it even after the first two outs, Big C. It just looked like he got rocked for 2 runs early, and then in the second inning, they hit him for 5 runs, Big C. Your thoughts? Maybe he left him in there a little bit too long. Your thoughts, Big C?
Well, Charlton, I don't know if you left him in a little too long. When a bat is hot, a bat is hot. And Houston had the hot bats early in the game. I mean, all the Dodgers pitchers felt the wrath of the Astros in this World Series. When you look at the amount of home runs that we giving up, no one, rattled Kershaw.
Yep.
After he was beat to death in that game in Houston, where he blew 2 3-run leads in the game. Charlton, he didn't get any negative press behind that.
Yeah.
But here it is with Darvish. They find ways to say that he lost the series for the Dodgers. There was not one individual who lost the series for the Dodgers, Charlton. There wasn't one individual who won the series for the Astros. This is what, when you talk about team play in team sports, it takes a collective unit to make it happen. It's like last year when you look at the Super Bowl that was down in Houston with the Atlanta Falcons. It's easy to say that Matt Ryan lost the game.
Yeah.
But, the defense didn't stop Tom Brady. And I don't know if Matt went out and made a tackle, but I know the defense didn't stop Tom Brady.
That's a very...
When you look at team sports, it's very difficult to point a finger at an individual. Unfortunately, Darvish didn't have his best stuff in his 2 starts.
Yeah.
But this is a best of 7 series, okay?
Yep.
The Dodgers had 5 opportunities when Darvish weren't pitching to close out the World Series.
Yeah, that's a very...
Let's look at it from that perspective. They had 5 opportunities when he wasn't on the mound to close out the World Series. So you can't, who lost the other 2 games that Darvish didn't lose? Okay?
Yeah.
Let's look at that. Nobody's saying that they blew the series for the Dodgers.
Yeah, obviously great baseball no matter how you cut it. It's designed for one team to win and one team to lose. And speaking of winning, this segment sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade, the standard of the world. And when you go by and test drive yours, tell them that Big C sent you. And just thinking about last night's game and all the trappings with the movie stars in Hollywood that always tend to show up for the big games. And then also you had the average ticket. I don't even know what it was, but I hear some good old boys spent about $72,000 for 4 tickets, which is a lot of money to see your home team lose, Big C. But you did say some good old boy flew in. I don't know if he flew in from Texas or not. Did he drop $15 million in Las Vegas for one of the bets? Is that what I heard you say, Big C?
$15 million in Vegas, Charlton, on the game last night. So, there was a lot of money moving around. But, Charlton, think about it. Every year, only once a year is there a championship competition in every league.
Yeah.
I mean, we look at the NBA last year with Houston, not Houston, but the Golden State
Warriors in Cleveland.
Cavaliers.
Yeah.
Okay, people were dropping $25,000 a seat to get into that series, Charlton.
Yeah.
To see the Warriors have potentially close it out at home. a year ago in the Big C World Series in Chicago where somebody dropped $98,000 for 2 seats.
Yeah.
So, the money's out there. When you have a ravenous sports fan that's looking for a one-time-in-history scenario, Charleston,
Yeah.
How do you put a price tag on it?
Yeah.
It's like looking at a championship ring. What is a championship ring worth? A championship ring, Charleston, is worth what a fan is willing to pay for it.
Yep.
The players technically get them for free.
Yeah.
But what is a fan willing to pay for it? I mean, you see rings on the market, $25,000, $35,000, $50,000. So, it comes down to what someone wants to pay. I know the highest price ever paid for a group of championship ring was former Raider kicker Ray Guy.
Yep.
Where he had put his 3 Super Bowl rings on the market and got $78,000 for the 3 rings. That's 3 rings. Do the math on the average of those rings, Justin.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
$78,000 for 3 rings. So you're talking roughly $35,000 a ring, the value that a fan put on that set.
Yeah.
So, it comes down to what the individual wants. Who knows the price of a Picasso other than the person that pays for it?
Yep.
All right? That's what the value is.
Yeah.
And last night's game in the mind of Houston Astros fans was a Picasso.
Yeah.
Because it was that once in a lifetime thing. This was the first time they've ever won a championship, Charleston. So how do you put a price tag on that seat? How do you put a price tag on the price of that ring for the first time ever occurring in the 54-year history of the franchise?
Yeah, that's a very good point, too. And again, they used to be over in the National League where they would have met with the Dodgers in the NLCS, perhaps, had it been, going back several years. But the thing for Houston, and we talk about things that athletes can do, and we talk about it all the time. There are a lot of players that were saying that they did this for their fans, and of course everybody says that. But when you think about, there's still people in Houston that are still displaced from their homes. There's still people who have their homes flooded out, whether they're rich or poor. It doesn't discriminate when the storm comes through town. So just a lot of things that people can get away from their own headaches for a couple of hours to watch a baseball game. But I do want to touch on a few things from last night. And when Houston got 2 runs in the first inning, and, we think about the momentum and how emotion comes, and I just want to get your thoughts. There's still people thinking, okay, the Dodgers scored a lot of runs after the 6th inning. So a team that can hit the ball well at the Dodgers, you think, okay, that's not really that far of a deficit. At the end of the 2nd inning, though, then you're looking at, okay, now we're down 5 runs, and the Dodgers in the last 2 games only scored a combined, I believe, 3 runs in the last 2 games. So I think when you think about that, actually 4 runs in the last 2 games. They won 3. They scored 3 in Game 6 and 1 in Game 7. But when you get to that point, and we talked about who's going to come in and pitch, did you notice last night it really didn't matter who was pitching? Guys were playing like they played back in the 40s where you just pitched your best pitcher. It didn't matter if he had 50 or 60 pitches. Big C, your thoughts?
What do you think about how early they brought Kershaw into the game, Jonathan? But the Dodgers blew ample opportunities early in the game.
Yeah.
There were twice in the early innings where they had 2 men on base.
Yeah.
Okay? And they hit into double plays, and the Astros were able to get out of the inning. But that's what baseball is about. Defense.
Yep.
We all look at the offense. We look at who's not hitting. But when you can strategically put the defense in the right position, because there was a liner at one point, I think it was about the 3rd inning.
Yeah.
Right at the shortstop, and he was able to flick it over to Altuve at second base.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, they were out of the inning. The Dodgers had runners on 1st and 2nd, 1 out.
Yeah.
All it took was a single, Charlton, and the center fielder, I can't remember the center fielder's name, but he had hit double.
Yeah.
He had hit a couple doubles in the series and driven in runs. If he had gotten a double at that point,
Oh, Taylor.
it was a close game all of a sudden.
Yeah, Chris Taylor. Yeah. Chris Taylor, obviously, batting .286. Yeah. No, you're right. They left, I think, 11 batters on, and when you have runners in scoring position, you got to find a way to hit the ball. It seemed to me, and again, Dodgers were going up against tired pitchers, and even Houston couldn't hit the ball after the 2nd inning because Kershaw came in and did his thing, and then also Jensen came in and closed out. But when I look at batting, and I listen to people talk, guys that have been in the game, I really like the crew that gets on with one of the networks, and the guys that play Alex Rodriguez, and they had Big Papi there, and there's a couple other great athletes that have played as well. Yeah, Frank Thomas, and they talked about how you read pitches. And the average person may watch a game and say, why do they go to the mound and always have their glove over the mouth? Or why do they go to the mound and they're always talking with their hat, they'll put their hat in their hand and put it over the mouth? Because it is a science, Big C. The same way down in Vegas, people are looking at cars, and the car might be, bent a little bit. Some of your cars are sticky when you go out and play with those good old boys in the backyard drinking moonshine. You got these sticky cars on the deck, but they can read signs. But to have people say that they can read the signs, when he put the ball in his glove, he was throwing fastball. If he had his hand down, he was not going to throw a fastball. These guys are paid millions of dollars. You got good old boys at home that can read the signs. Guys that can do it, and the game can do it. So why would the Dodgers not be able to see what their own guy's doing if he's tipping signs and Houston knows it? Why would the Dodgers pitching staff not be able to see that, Big C? Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, everybody knows that there's no guesswork when it comes to knowing what a pitcher's going to play, what he's going to throw. That's why Kershaw has the flared glove.
Yeah.
Pitchers have the tendency of how they squeeze their glove, where they hold it at, the height of the glove based on the pitch. This is why baseball can utilize analytics that no other sport can, Charlton.
Yeah.
Because the game is so methodical. And when it takes time to execute a particular play, such as baseball is not about physicality when it comes to a pitcher throwing the ball. It's about positioning.
Yep.
And so wherever he's positioned himself, I mean, both teams had opportunity. As you spoke about, the Dodgers left 11 players on base last night.
Yeah.
That was 11 missed opportunities.
Yep.
And that's what it comes down to in baseball. And it wasn't that they weren't making contact. It's that they were hitting the ball right at the proper defense that the Houston Astros had set up. When you can position your infields into the right place, Charlton,
yep.
That's the key. When you can get those double plays to get a pitcher out of an inning. We didn't see that for the Dodgers last night with the double plays, saving an inning. But we saw that twice for the Astros.
Yeah.
Where you had double plays, saving innings, getting out of it. Giving the pitcher another opportunity to live another inning. That's what it's all about. It's about that instant, that moment in time when you make the critical decision as a manager, and that's why they make the big bucks.
Yeah.
And you see the top guys there all the time. They make that critical move, moving a guy 3-4 feet in the right direction, Charlton, and all of a sudden, they move him based on the pitches.
Yeah.
And the pitches that are going to be thrown, because the bat is going to send the ball that direction generally.
Yeah.
And so it's not guesswork when it comes to that. That's the analytics of baseball.
Yeah. Now, obviously, that's a very good point. A lot of people put a lot of time and energy, and it's the little things. No matter how big and strong a player is, whether it's Altuve, or we talked about Frank Thomas being on one of the after-game shows and pre- and post-game shows, it doesn't really matter how big of the athlete is. What matters in baseball is, can you put the ball in the bat? Looking at the World Series, it's just amazing how the Dodgers have 6 championships, and how they were thinking they were going to get number 7 last night in Game 7 at home. It's like the stars were all aligned for it. But for Houston, as some of the players talked about it, whether it was Sager or whether it was Bergman on third base, they talked about being able to do this for their city. Now, maybe that doesn't make a difference, Big C, because everybody's going to say that they love their city. The people in L.A. love L.A. People in Houston love Houston. You really love who's paying you, because Verlander loved Detroit, but he didn't love them enough to stay there, okay? He loved Houston even more with that championship ring he's going to get. But I look at how the athletes that talked about what it meant, and I really love, Big Papi has a speech impediment, not impediment, but he has that Latin accent, okay? And I love the fact that they have him on there. And I'm going to bring up a point that maybe no one even agrees with. Baseball it may be America's pastime, but the Latin influence is so prominent, I think is great, is why the game is great. Now I'm going to say something so stupid that people might think, why am I bringing this point up? If you look at the number of, say, Latin Americans on the Houston roster compared to the Dodgers roster, you can read into it what you want. But this Dodgers roster was built to win a championship, and so was the Dodgers and the Astros. Both rosters are. But the emergence of the Latin players really turned this series around when you look at how well they hit the ball, whether it's a Sager, or if you look at even in the outfielder. I mean, they had so many players that came in with a Latin background that they were hungry growing up. I don't know if that makes a difference now, but I'm saying the influence, even Altuve, these guys come from a hungrier background, and it kind of shows they have a little bit more moonshine in their tank. Big C, your thoughts?
What you trying to say?
Donald Trump didn't build the wall fast enough. Yeah.
When you look at the emergence of the Latin player in Major League Baseball, really you look over the last 50 years, Charlton.
Yeah.
How did the development of the Latin players have influenced baseball? One of the big reason for it, Charlton, is because most of the major league teams have academies down in these Latin American countries where you can go sign a young kid who's 14, 15 years old, put him in your academy.
Yep.
You sign him for $1,500, $2,500 a year. More money than what his family's going to make in that year, Charlton, in one of these third world countries, okay? So you get an opportunity to develop this kid for $25,000 over 5 years.
Yep.
All right? This is all it's costing you. Versus if you sign an American college ball player, you got to drop a $500,000 signing bonus minimum on 3 years to come play in the minors.
Yeah.
This is why the development of the Latin player has become so prevalent in the major leagues, because they're a cheap investment. It goes back to that thing that we talked about, slave labor to a degree with college athletes.
Yep.
This is basically they're getting these kids for nothing. They put them in an academy. They help them learn how to speak English, but they're in a baseball school 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. This is where they live. This is where they're housed. They're in a boys' club to play baseball.
Yeah.
And so they develop. They have that hunger that a lot of American kids don't. You know, we think about our American kids playing Little League and moving up through that, Charlton, through those ranks in high school, and, you know, Babe Ruth and, you know, all of those things. But down there, they start off at Babe Ruth age, Charlton, in these academies. When these teams see promise, they'll keep a kid around 3-4 years. If there's nothing there, they ship him off. No one even knows that he was ever at the academy, Charlton. They wait on the next young upstart to come in.
That's a good point.
So they have this opportunity to develop these players real cheap. It's what we call third world labor.
Yep.
People don't recognize that once they get to the majors, but this is the reason why you have great players like, you know, the kid Puig.
Yeah, Puig, Yasiel Puig.
Cuba, as well as the relief pitcher there that was with the Cubs last year.
Yep. Yeah. You have Gurriel. You have Gurriel, first baseman. You also have Altuve, which is as a minor, he tried to play Major League Baseball and he didn't make it, but he committed to coming back. You also have Correa. These guys were the ones making a difference in the game last night. And a lot of this Latin influence, you see it all over baseball. And now people bring up the issue of the Negro League Baseball and how it was disbanded and how, you know, Branch Rickey wanted to really disband the Negro League Baseball. It wasn't that he really opened the doors for Major League Baseball. They went after the best players, the best African-American players, and they gave them the chance to play in the major leagues. Now, you don't see the influence of the black athlete as much in the major leagues, and you just brought up the point why. You can get a kid for $1,500 to join your organization in Latin America. Here in America, it may cost them $500,000 for a black player. And I'm just bringing this up because it's so obvious when you watch baseball. It's almost like you rarely see the African-American player anymore because they make too much money compared to what you get by spending $1,500 or maybe even $2,000 for an athlete in Latin America. Big C, do you ever see a change coming where they go after the inner city kid the way they used to before they found it was cheaper labor to get these Latin American athletes and put them in baseball farms? Big C, your thoughts? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
They're not being built in the inner city. You're hard pressed to find a baseball field in Chicago, in New York, in Detroit, Cleveland, cities of that, Charlton. Those major, you know, industrial cities. You don't find the little league fields. They've been taken over, and those things have become developments.
Yeah.
Okay? Big business has developed those into shopping malls and other things in those areas. There were once parks for kids. They're no longer there. You have to go out to suburbia where these kids can't get to, Joe.
Yeah.
That's what has happened to the young African-American baseball players, that they no longer have a place to develop.
Yeah.
And so when people say the decline, anything will decline when you can't. You look at Detroit.
Yep.
The auto industry declined in Detroit, Charlton, when you had no place to build them anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, when those factories became dilapidated, they closed down because they were outdated. You no longer built cars in the inner city of Detroit with Ford and GM.
Yeah.
They moved to the suburban countryside, Charlton, in other states where land was cheaper to develop. That's just like when you go put in a new housing development now, Charlton.
Yep.
One of the things that's part of that these cities that demand is that they put in the parks
Yep.
for the youth. Okay?
Yeah.
So who can afford to pay for these $500,000, $1 million homes?
Yeah.
Not the inner city families, Charlton. They can't move out there. There's no bus lines out there either.
Yeah.
So now their kids are devoid of the opportunity to play Little League Baseball. They don't want to pump into the Little League programs in the inner cities, Charlton. You can drive into any major city in the U.S. drive out to the new palatial suburbs,
Yep.
and you'll see some of the greatest parks that were ever built. From whether it's soccer, whether it's baseball, even the swimming facilities. You like look at them like, wow, they put a lot into this.
A lot of money.
Youth centers.
Yeah.
But you do not get this in the inner city. You may have a boys and girls club.
Yeah.
But that's an inner confine. Oh, they can play basketball.
Yeah.
We see that in the NBA. You have basketball courts, but you don't have baseball diamonds, Charles.
And that's a very good point. I do want to say that sports is a billion-dollar industry, and boys and girls sports is the foundation to this billion-dollar industry. And whenever you have an athletic and sporting event, you need athletic and event insurance. We work with Ben and Mark. They've been around half a century. They work with Big C Sports, and they also cover pro teams, your collegiate teams, your high school teams, even your mom and pop soccer leagues. And when you reach out to them, let them know that Big C sent you. So a great World Series. I don't think anyone can say they were disappointed other than the last game. Game 7, it just seems like both teams were exhausted. But I do like the way that baseball closed out very strong. If we look real quick into next year, it's amazing how even after the series is over and the Dodgers lost, if you look at the odds to win in 2018 World Series, the LA Dodgers, they open as a 5-1 favorite to win the 2018 World Series. And that's according to some of your friends down in Las Vegas. I think you know what that guy that laid down $15 million, Big C. It's amazing that of all the people that knew someone laid down $15 million, how does Big C know him? But Big C, your thoughts on that real quick? Yeah. 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 Well, I do got to say, I do owe you a glass of California red wine because I'm glad I didn't get that moonshine, but you were going to have to, divvy up the moonshine had the Houston Astros lost, but I do owe you a glass of California red wine, so you'll be getting it very soon, Big Z. I do want to touch on a few other things in the world of sports, and we'll stay in the beautiful state of Texas. Unfortunately, their prodigal quarterback, a guy that has so much promise, and this is about the game. In practice, people can even get hurt because the NFL is it's a tough business. But Deshaun Watson, I heard breaking news that he has an ACL tear in practice, Big C, and that may sit him on the sideline for the rest of the year. Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, he was rolling out on just a simple read option play.
Yeah.
No contact in practice. Similar to the injury that Teddy Bridgewater suffered last year with the Minnesota Vikings when he dislocated his knee and tore up everything. Same thing happened with Deshaun Watson. You think about how promising his future had gotten off to be.
Yeah.
And everything ended for Houston in a matter of one day.
Yeah.
You win the World Series, that's over. Your football season is over the next day. In a 24-hour period, think about the high and the low of that city, Charles. They had a hurricane all over again.
Yeah.
It blew in the good and took out the good all at the same time. But, when you think about, we just saw probably the best football game of the NFL season this past weekend with Houston facing Seattle.
Oh, yeah.
When Deshaun Watson had eclipsed something that no other quarterback in NFL history had done with over 400 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, and over 50 yards rushing, Charles. You think about what he's done thus far in 7 games that he's played this season.
Yep.
He has thrown 19 touchdown passes, Charlton, in 7 games.
Yeah.
The NFL rookie record is only 27. He was 3 games away from breaking the NFL rookie touchdown passing record.
Wow.
You realistically look at it statistically, how he's been going.
Yeah.
And this catastrophic injury goes on the heels of the first game of the season when J.J. Watt was lost, Charlton.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
He broke his leg. So now you got your best defensive player gone, your best offensive player gone. Now Tom Savage is back on the field.
Yeah.
Tom Savage started the first half of the first game for the Houston Texans.
Yeah.
Okay? Before he was replaced by Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
So what is this offense going to be now, Charlton? Do they water down? And now we're going to do this in reverse. Do they water down this offense for the white quarterback?
Yeah.
You simplify the game plan for him because Tom Savage is a quarterback that sits in the pocket and holds the ball.
Yeah.
He does not have the motor skills of a Deshaun Watson to recognize and read what's going on defensively, to make things happen, to be able to move around in the pocket.
Yeah.
Not only that, you think about it, they lose Deshaun Watson. And to find the quarterback to fit that offense, we know one's real. We don't even have to say his name.
Terry Bradshaw? You saying Terry Bradshaw, Big C? Is that the guy you're talking about?
Inside Matt McGloin.
Yeah, what a joke.
Matt McGloin was the Raiders' third-string quarterback last year.
Yeah.
Who got cut by the Philadelphia Eagles in training camp.
Yeah.
So Matt McGloin is a poor man's Tom Savage, okay?
Yeah.
And we know that Tom Savage can't play.
Yeah. I know.
You think about this. Well, you knew that Houston wouldn't sign the guy that we're not going to talk about.
Yep.
Because of Bob McNair's comment.
Right.
You don't want to bring another convict in to play quarterback.
That's incredible.
Any bomb that say I can take a snap other than bringing a convict in to play quarterback.
That's incredible. And I want to contrast what you just said. And we know we're talking about the great Colin Kaepernick that a lot of people who read actually have a lot of respect for him. I contrast Deshaun Watson and how great he is as an athlete. And I want to bring it to San Francisco, to Silicon Valley. And I look at this kid they just got out of New England, Garoppolo, and they're making so much fuss about him. And I hope he does well, but I just haven't seen the fuss. I thought they were bringing in Joe Montana the way they were talking about this guy. And now they're saying they're not even going to start him in the game that they've made this big fuss about, Big C. Does that make any sense to you, or is it just me not understanding it?
Well, I looked at the stupidity of the organization, Charlton, over the past 3 years, okay?
Yeah.
How Jed York has masterminded, the undercurrent of this
once great
franchise.
Yeah.
That they've done everything to demise this program, Charlton. But you make this hoorah trade for Jimmy Garoppolo. Now, Jimmy Garoppolo is a system quarterback. Believe me, he is a system quarterback.
Yep.
He will not have success outside of New England. But you want every player in the NFL to have success.
Oh, yeah.
But he will not have success outside of New England. And I think after they made the trade, they started thinking about that. John Lynch and Shanahan.
Yep.
They started looking at damn. Look at all these quarterbacks that Bill Belichick has gotten rid of.
Yep.
We talked about it a couple of nights ago.
Yeah.
Only Bledsoe he's had the best record of all. He was 35 and 38.
Yeah.
As a starter once he left New England.
Yep.
So nobody has had success. Even Brian Hoyer started his career in New England, Charlton.
Yeah.
The quarterback who started the season for the San Francisco. Now think about this. This is the statement that Shanahan made. I don't want to put a quarterback out on the field that doesn't have a chance for success.
Isn't that dumb? Why'd you get him?
Who started the last 2 games for San Francisco? P.J. Message.
Yep.
Out of Iowa.
Yep.
You gonna tell me he had an opportunity for success?
Yeah.
He can't get any worse than what you're playing right now.
Yeah.
At least Garoppolo has played 2 NFL games himself like Message.
Yeah.
And won 2 of them. Message won nothing.
Yeah.
So this is a situation you sit there with Garoppolo. He's a free agent at the end of this season, okay?
Yeah.
You're going to pay him one way or another. You're going to hold him sitting on the bench and have to give him a $100 million contract, minimum $50 million. Okay?
Yep. Yep. It doesn't make any sense.
He's worth that because he's white and he won 2 games.
And the fact...
Everybody has to look at the New England Patriots ledger and say, okay, that was in New England system. Nobody else has done anything outside that New England system. Or you play the guy. You find out whether you have anything or whether you don't have anything. And you'll say, well, there's no talent around it.
Yeah.
Hell, who the hell picked the lineup?
Yeah, that's funny.
and Shanahan,
Yeah.
who said these are the 53 best players we have.
Yeah.
So if you say he has no receivers and no running back, okay, I get it now. So I lost myself.
Well, think about...
Got a memo to their fans.
Yeah.
Was winning important.
Yeah.
I forgot all about this. Damn, I get excited about
well, think about what happened in baseball when the good old boys down in Texas brought in Verlander. Did they bring him in to sit the bench, or did they bring him in to start playing? In fact, when he was traded to Houston, they brought him in. It was a doubleheader, and he got there, and he was part of that game. He was part of that second game. They didn't have him sit for 2 weeks or sit for a month or say, well, he's just not ready yet. If he's not ready to play when you draft the guy or when you trade for him, then why put the money and time into him? You're going to tell me you're going to spend all this money for an organization that hasn't won 1 game since Colin Kaepernick was quarterback, and they've been trying to find somebody to help them do that, but he's still out there. But now they're bringing a guy that America tries to say, hey, this is the next savior for the 49ers, and they say, well, we're not going to play him. Then why the heck did you get him? Doesn't make any sense to me.
Charlton, it's just like when you think about teams drafting quarterbacks in the first round, okay?
Yeah.
You look at the success that Wentz had last year in the first round.
Yeah.
You look at the success that Watson was having this year in the first round.
Yep.
You draft a quarterback in the first round because you feel that he's ready to play.
Yeah.
You don't waste the first round draft pick on a quarterback saying, well, I'm going to wait till next year.
Yeah.
If that's the case, why not draft him into the second round? Because you're saying that he may not be ready mentally. Why did you draft? Who gave him a Wonderlic test? Okay?
Yeah, that's funny. Hey, didn't we tell you that Denver's in Mile High City because of the high altitude? That's why they call it Mile High, right? Well, San Francisco's in wine country. A lot of good old boys get a little tipsy before they start signing contracts on different players. I wish the man all the success in the world, but I'd be an idiot if I said we had the quarterback that took us to a Super Bowl. He's still looking for work, but he can't get a job with the team that he played for, and he knows their system very well. Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
4 starting quarterbacks. Not one starting quarterback has been signed to replace him. Jake Cutler was a bench rider last year. I think he played 3 games with the Bears. Okay?
Yeah.
And they're retired.
Yeah.
Right?
He was taking a nap when they called him, from what I understand.
Aaron Rodgers has gone down.
Yeah.
There's been nobody to replace him.
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson has gone down. There's nobody to replace him.
Yep.
Charlton, when these starting quarterbacks go down in the NFL, and you telling me that a guy that's working at a grocery store, Matt McGloin,
Yep.
is better than a guy who has started in the NFL?
Yeah.
Colin Kaepernick has an ironclad case on collusion that's going on right now because these owners can't justify not signing this guy after the comments that they've made.
Yeah.
Black players, inmates.
Yeah.
President called them SOBs.
Yep.
Jerry Jones said, "I'll bet you if you don't stand."
Yep.
That's collusion.
Yeah.
They've all stated it as collusion, but Bob McNair owes more than this to his fans in Houston.
Yeah.
When the Astros player can say this is for the fans,
Yep.
Bob McNair can't turn around and make that same statement.
No, he can't.
There's a quarterback that mirrored Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
Closest in Colin Kaepernick.
Oh my goodness.
The physical,
Big C.
similarities in their games.
Yeah.
You don't have to make changes. You don't have to make changes to the playbook. You put him out there and let him do what Deshaun Watson did. When things broke down, Deshaun Watson would get you a 40-yard touchdown run.
You know what?
Colin Kaepernick did.
That Colin Kaepernick.
What he's doing? He's doing tuck and roll. I guarantee you Tom Savage will be sacked no less than 6 times in this next game that they play, Joe.
When you think about Colin Kaepernick, I thought Deshaun Watson was playing like Colin played when he lit up Seattle's defense because Colin did the same thing against New England on the road against Tom Brady. He did the same thing at Green Bay with the great Aaron Rodgers. He did it to Cam Newton on the road as well.
If you go back to the game at Candlestick Park,
Yeah.
whatever it was, 3 comms.
Candlestick, 3-com, Nike, whatever. Yeah. 400 yards. Yep.
Where he ran past over 400 yards.
I was there.
Ran for over 100 yards. Threw 3 touchdown passes. I mean, the only difference between he and Watson in that game was the length of hair, the skin complexion, and the numbers on their back. That was it.
Yeah. And I don't know. I just think it's almost like saying, Verlander, we don't want to start him because we don't like some of the things that he said about protecting the people in the great city of Detroit. So they decided not to do that, and that's their own choice. Big C, as we close out tonight, I want to just touch on tonight's game. We have some Thursday night football in the Meadowlands, and you have the Buffalo Bills, which looked like a challenge to the New England Patriots, especially the way they handled the Raiders. And now they're at the New York Jets, which are a better team than their record, and the Jets are capable of, I won't even call it an upset if the Jets win, but there should be a great game for that AFC East, especially in the Meadowlands tonight. Big C, your thoughts on Thursday night football?
Charlton, this is a challenging divisional game. But when you think about when the Bills are being 5-2 leading their division,
Yep.
for the first time in some time in about 17 years since they made the playoffs. Last time they made the playoffs, Charlton, they had a diminutive quarterback like they have now, Doug Flutie.
Yep.
Led them in the playoffs.
Yep.
The last time they made the playoffs, and you look at Tyrod Taylor. I think the move for Kelvin Benjamin will help them out a lot, Charlton.
Yeah.
Tyrod Taylor has to learn to be more of a pocket thrower, which he hasn't been. He's a team's second leading rusher.
Yeah.
He's a tremendous athlete who's willing to pull down the ball and get the tough yards.
Yep.
But their receiving core is the weakest in the NFL right now with only 45 receptions.
Yeah.
Benjamin won't play tonight, but he'll be ready for the following week. And Shane McCoy will be leading the attack tonight offensively.
Yeah.
Because the Jets have played twice as well as anybody expected this year, Charleston. And McCown, at quarterback, has done his best job as a pro this year by leading the Jets. They've been robbed on a couple occasions.
Yeah.
No one wants to give the coach credit for what he's done there in the past 2 years. Bowles has done a tremendous job as a head coach.
Yeah.
African-American coaches, when teams go bad, it's always them. It's amazing how many white coaches that don't get fired, when their teams don't win at all.
That's a very good point, Big C. I want to say that back in the day, there was a man by the name of Drew Bondini Brown. He was Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. He would always tell Ali, with all you've got to use, how can you lose? Rumble, young men rumble. Big C, what are you looking forward to in the sports universe?
Well, Charlton, what we're looking forward to tonight, is some new NFL action once again, just to see the way that the season's going to go. If the Buffalo Bills win this game tonight, they can put a stranglehold on the New England Patriots.
Yep.
The Patriots will have some problems as the season goes on, but the Jets also have an opportunity to salvage their season with a win, an upset win in the Meadowlands tonight, Charlton.
Well, that's a very good point, Big C. I do want to say congratulations to the Houston Astros, the 2017 World Series champion in the Big C World Series out in California. Also want to tell you that every Monday through Friday at 5 and 6 p.m. worldwide, follow Big C Sports on the Big C Sports Network, the number one network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the number one sports show in the universe, according to Big C and them good old boys down south. We always want to tell you, there's never, ever any reason for domestic violence. If you know any woman in trouble, please call 911 because no one should ever have to go through that garbage on their own. And as we always tell you on every Big C Sports show, we thank you, we appreciate you, and we hope that you have a super fantastic day.